Hello, everyone. We're live with Professor Murph and Leroy. How are you, gentlemen?
Doing great, man.
I'm okay.
Yeah, you're a bit tired,
Leroy's
Leroy.
always okay.
He's a bit upset. He needs some extra night's sleep, I think.
Guns.
Who's Professor Murph?
Oh, come on.
Professor Murph, right there.
You know me, Leroy. We talk guns in the chats.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I see you rocking the DuckTales shirt like it's nothing, Professor Murph.
Yeah, I love it.
Where's Tailspin?
80s cartoons. I couldn't find that one. I guess I got to go to Hot Topic to get it.
I had to explain, Chip and Dale, like the old's not the Rescue Rangers, but just Chip and Dale, the cartoons back in the day.
Right.
Aren't they strippers?
No, we had like somebody said the Apple. Remember the Apple Core one, Baltimore? Who's your friend? Me, and they threw the Apple. Yeah. So like somebody knew that cartoon and work in our Slack, and they said Apple Core, and somebody said Baltimore, and we completed the whole thing. And like the owner of my company, like we had to explain it and find the video and show him because he did not know what we were talking about.
Yeah, those pop culture references. Sometimes people look at you like you just assume they're going to know what you're talking about, and they don't.
Exactly.
I'm trying to find this video on Murph's channel and failing dismally, so maybe he can find it for us. But yeah, the reason why I wanted to have Murph on, I said the video is titled "What the fuck, Murph." So he probably has no idea what it's about. He's probably expecting me just to lay into him, but it's not. It's not that at all. I have Murph on because he has impressed me more than anyone else has impressed me in the somewhat recent past. I'm absolutely blown away by him. And there's a few reasons why. One, he got some really fair but cutting criticism, let's say, about his War Party campaign. And let's bring it up while we talk about it. From George, friend of the channel and often co-host, George Travalos. And I forgot to say hello, chat. I'll do that in a second. George was flabbergasted by this campaign at the time because you got 6 issues for $25. And he was kind of the mind that, is this guy for real? Is it a scam? What's going on here? And then Murph responded. But he didn't get butthurt like so many other creators can do and have done in the past. He took it on board like an absolute champion, made a video addressing all the issues, and because of that, his campaign, in my opinion, started going in a really good direction. Murph, what do you have to say about that whole scenario?
Well, I mean, I came into Comicsgate. I've been following Comicsgate for 2 years before I even launched. So I've been sort of lurking around watching videos, and it's all about accountability. I mean, accountability to the fans and accountability between professionals. So I just took it as, okay, I'm being held accountable like everybody else. I saw it as an opportunity. I was glad you guys did it because it gave me a chance to voice those concerns. You don't know what people are thinking until they tell you, right? So how do you know what to answer if the questions aren't asked, right? So the questions were asked and they were valid, and I was like, yeah, I get it. I would be asking the same questions. So here it goes. So it was great. It was I feel like it was a turning point in my campaign, honestly, because it was doing okay, but it wasn't really taking off at all. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to hit my goal in 30 days or the first 30 days. I could just tell. You can tell. You can watch the trajectory and see where you're heading. And I had set a pretty high goal because 10 grand that's not a small goal, especially not for a first CG campaign. So it actually helped give me a sort of a platform to start talking more, and it encouraged me to go on more streams. And that's when things really started to take off.
Beautiful. All right. And just before I say hello to chat, what do you think about that, Leroy? Because I think you're on the panel with us that time when George brought it up.
I was. I thought George was fair though. Like.
Yeah. No. Totally fair.
And I mean, if you're a new creator and you're selling 6 books for $25, I mean, like of course you're going to be like, we've had fulfillment issues in the past, of course. So, but yeah, I think Murph handled it like a pro. Like, And I do think it was a turning point, especially with his reputation in CG. Like he can handle, because we were also trolling him a little bit too, if I remember right, and he handled it all like a pro. And like, you handle it, you survive the trial by fire, and now you're accepted. There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of a hazing ritual. I knew what was going on, but you still go. You want to get defensive, and you're like, no. Let me just, let me respond and play the game, and I can talk trash back a little bit, and it's fun. It's like hanging out with your buddies, playing basketball or working out or whatever. That's the way guys are. We trash talk each other.
That's exactly right.
That's it. We'll talk about that more in a second. I really want to say hello, chat, because I forgot. Darren Wagner is in the house. Always good to see you, Darren.
Wagner. It's not two E's, Rob.
Well, have you heard him say his name? Are you sure?
No, but I could read English.
Well, sometimes, not on your own stream, you can't. I Borrow Ideas says, Rob is competing with Bancroft to see who can have the worst stream today. My money is on the Aussie. Jim Cox, third. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. The real Aussie or the wannabe American Aussie? So I'm the real one. Bancroft is the one who pretends he's American.
I would agree.
Yeah.
They said he looks like Chris Stuckman. Did you see that?
I think he looks more like a brick to me. Yeah, a little disappointing, but going against EVS was tough. It was a great looking piece. I think they're talking about an auction piece. Obviously, Dario is in chat as well. Okay, I've got GameStops. Amanda B's in the house. Rob's a shark. Okay, cool. Dojo Kun Comics. Good to see you again. Let's have a look. I think that might be it. Fatal J.
We got Billy Basco, Obi-Wan Kenobi, K Manifesto, Jasper Plan 9. I think that's it. But nobody wants to talk about Billy, so we're good.
Oh, geez, that's rough. And Darren doing the good work there, putting the links in chat for us. Justin Dutton's in the house. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Good to see you. Yeah, so that is something as a new creator that I did not understand it when I first arrived here, but you're basically just getting, people are insulting you, but it's out of love a lot of the time. Sometimes it's not. And some creators don't handle that well. But since you've been around CG for a while, Murph, you must have known that's how things.
Yeah, I love it. I enjoy it. I don't take anything personal. It's all fun. I trash talk other people too, but you know where the line is, I think, and you know how to do it. If you do it right, you know how to do it without offending people. But you gotta. Everybody's so thin-skinned today. Just lighten up. Everybody takes themselves so seriously. We're making comic books, right? So, I mean, as long as we deliver the product and we don't rip anybody off and we do our best, have fun, right? It should be fun.
And Leroy, what would be the rules for trash talking people in general? Like, there's no set rules, but what would be some good guidelines?
As a fan, I try not to screw with creators' money. That's my number one rule. Not to screw with what they can sell. I try no talking about family. That's a given. It's and try to be understanding. You got to know the creator a little bit. Like hang out, listen to them, and then you can. This shit talking can't commence.
Mm-hmm. No family, no politics, no religion. Probably good.
Yeah, good. And no money. Don't affect their money.
And no money. Yep. So that was the start of the turnaround for the campaign, Murph. But what has happened here? 334 backers. December 3rd, 604 backers now. You've added nearly 300 backers in just under 2 months.
Yeah.
What have you done? And what can I steal from you?
Yeah, when I saw that, I was kind of hearing Todd's Truth's voice in my head going, why is the price so low? Why is the price so low? I'm thinking, oh my God, I have 600 backers. I could be at like $40,000 right now. But, the point is, I don't regret it. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad I did the way I did it. Okay, well, I mean, here's what's worked for me. I can only say what's worked for me. I'm not telling anybody how to run their campaign at all. But this was a very staggered campaign. In other words, I didn't come out of the gate with everything and just let it go from there. What I did was I gradually added perks as I went along. I added secret perks for existing backers, and I would email them immediately as soon as they backed it. I'd say, "Here are the secret perks." I tried to keep shipping costs down to the penny. I mean, I'm making maybe $1 or $2 off of each shipping, and some of the foreign stuff I'm losing money, honestly. Like Australia, England, or UK, I'm losing money on the shipping, but that's okay. I knew that. I mean, I'm probably losing $5 to $10 on those. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. I know, but my point is, it's so expensive to ship overseas that I had to sort of gauge what kind of punishment I could absorb on that. But I am making a little bit of a profit on local shipping, so that's all good. I'm shipping medium mail, that's helping. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is I tried to find the perfect price point to get people to give it a chance, but at the same time offer secret perks as I went along. I did a stretch goal, which helped a little bit. And of course, the Michael Golden thing, he contacted me this week and said he wanted to do 10 illustrations for me. They could be commissions, anything anybody wants, anything. Star Wars, Marvel, DC, whatever. And one of them sold today, as soon as I put it up. So things like that obviously help, but I don't know. I can't really give you an answer beyond that. I'm just selling books. I'm not selling t-shirts. I'm not selling koozies, toys, any of that stuff. It's pretty much just books and a little bit of original art, and that's it.
Yeah, but once you explained why it was 6 for $25, and people felt comfortable with it, like how the complete set, 232 people backed that. That's a lot. That's a lot. So, like, I feel like after you put that video out, like, that's when people started. They were on board after that.
Yeah, I mean, I approached it the way I've always done comics because I always dealt with Diamond. I never got 100% for anything cover price. It was 40%. What you get. So for me, even charging only $4 a floppy, that's what I charge in a store, but I wouldn't even get half of that. So I'm getting all of it right now. So to me, this was a great deal. I didn't feel like I was giving anything away at all. But then I kind of realized, oh no, I'm kind of undercutting other CG creators because CG books on average I know are higher than what you pay in the stores. I get it. And that was not my intent. I was not trying to undercut people. I just was approaching it the way I would approach anything. What does a floppy cost? It costs $4. That's what I'm charging online for a 22-page story. I'm not going to charge more than that. And that's just why I went with it that way.
So going forward after this campaign, will you move to the graphic novel format, do you think, or are you going to continue floppies?
I think it depends on how long the follow-ups are. I have 4 more stories, more War Party stories to follow this up with. And in the handbook, when people order the handbook, the last half of the handbook is literally nothing but a sticker album, whereas each book comes out, you'll be able to put the bios of the characters in there. So if it's a 64 to 72 page story, then graphic novel would make sense. But if I do something any longer than that as a follow-up, I like doing the floppies. I like having the different covers. I like the feel of a floppy, honestly, more than a graphic novel, even though I've done graphic novels. I prefer, to me, a comic book is a floppy. That's a comic book. And I don't think those need to go away just because, everybody's on the graphic novel bandwagon. So no, I'm not sure, honestly, how to answer that question, but I'm open to either or, depending. Thanks, K Manifesto. Appreciate it.
That's a big call at the moment, considering the amount of werewolf books that have sold.
Yeah, do we not have Eddie Winkler in the chat? What's going on here?
Eddie's usually in the chat. We've been talking a lot lately. We're both backers of each other's books. I love Eddie's book, and we've even talked about a crossover down the line because we feel like the worlds of our books make sense. It seems like they're going to collide at some point.
Wait a minute. Are you saying we're going to get some werewolf on werewolf action?
Well, first of all, let me clear something up. They are not werewolf books. These are shapeshifter books. There just happens to be a character who's a wolf, right? I've got I've got a gator, I've got an eagle, I've got a bear, I've got a jaguar. He has, an eagle or a hawk and other characters, so a cat. So everybody calls them werewolf books, but they're really more like shapeshifter books. I may not have a wolf in this follow-up. They may be totally different animals. Because whatever your spirit animal is, whatever Dione finds out what your spirit animal, that's what it is. I have one character, he's going to be a pigeon in New York. His spirit animal is a pigeon. It's got to be. You got to have a pigeon in New York. So that'll be an opportunity for some comedy a little bit. I think it's a misnomer that they're werewolf books because you see the werewolf all the time.
Darren says furries unite.
I haven't gotten a lot of furry action on this campaign. As a matter of fact, I had a lot of them refund. There was a little bit of an issue where there was some refunds. I think they found out I was CG and they went running for the hills. So it has cost me a little bit, but ultimately it's done me more good than harm.
Billy says, I'd say this falls more into the Native American books, which is cool.
Yeah, this is the second Native American. The first one is just indie. It's not CG, but it's called the Bobcat. So this is the second kind of Native American book I backed, within the pretty close together.
Yeah, I love this period in history too. I used to love the movie Last of the Mohicans. I still love it. I've seen it 100 times. It's just, I love the whole colonial period. There's a lot of story opportunities, and I don't think it's utilized nearly enough in fiction. I don't know why. It's a really interesting period.
So, can a wolf have a spirit animal? Like a human can have a spirit animal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if a wolf can have a spirit animal...
Can he become a human?
Could he... No, even better, Murph. If a wolf can have a spirit animal, could it be a mermaid? Then,
oh, Lord. Here we go with the mermaids.
It would be perfect.
Are we going to merge mermaids, zombies, and werewolves? Is that going to be the next? Why is Adam getting so much flack for the mermaids? What's going on with this mermaid?
Gold right there, Murph, what you just said.
Crossover between the College of the Dead, the Mermaids, Sovereign Wolf, and War Party. That's on acid right there. Okay. Hey, hail Michael. Hail Lord Bancroft, as I call him.
So, Murph, are you a fan of the stories of the Goat Man and Skinwalkers and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I actually tried to crowdfund a game years ago called Cryptids, and I painted, I'm not kidding, digitally painted 100 cards, each one with a different cryptid. And some of the really, really obscure ones, like Mokele Mbembe, which is like a dinosaur in Africa. I had the Michigan Dog Man, all these sorts of things. I tried to fund it on Kickstarter, and it was a pretty hefty goal. I wasn't able to hit it. Games are hard to fund. I don't know why. Games are, I guess, because you can't play it, and they don't know if it's fun. It doesn't matter how it looks. So it wasn't a successful campaign. So I just shelved all those illustrations, and I put them on DeviantArt. About 2 years later, or a year later, I got a call from Prometheus Entertainment. They're the producers of Ancient Aliens. And they were doing a show called In Search of Monsters and another one called The Unexplained. And they had seen my Chupacabra illustration on DeviantArt, and they wanted to license it. And I said, oh, really? I said, I have 99 other cryptids that I painted. Would you like me to create a folder for you in Dropbox, and you can just sift through them and see which ones you want? So they said, sure. So they looked through them, and they must have licensed 30 or 40 of those things off of me for the TV series. So it paid off, because even though I wasn't able to do the game, I was able to sell or license the illustrations for their 2 TV shows. So I love that stuff.
Is it decent money doing that?
Yeah, that's what licensing is. They can't use your illustration if they don't pay you. So they paid me per illustration in just one lump sum, and just put them on their show. Yeah. Beautiful.
And Leroy, you I assume you go hunting a lot. You sound like the person that hunts things. Have you seen anything out in the wild that makes you question things?
I'd say the most majestic thing I've ever seen is when I was stationed to Alaska. I had to take the ferry from Washington State and here in the States, and go take the boat all the way to Alaska. 20 minutes after I got off the boat, I saw my first pack of wild wolves, and it was like insane. Like how majestic they are and how big they are. You're just not prepared for that. But nothing that ever like was like this is supernatural or anything. No.
No smells of metal.
Only when I drink Foster's.
What about you, Murph?
Swamp gas.
Have you been inspired by real life events?
For this, I had one. It isn't really a cryptid thing, and I'm not ashamed to talk about it. But it's a historical sort of energy sort of thing. I was with a friend at Gettysburg, the battlefield in Pennsylvania, and we walked across the field where Pickett's charge happened. It's the big charge where Lee's army attacked Meade's army. And we got to what's called the high water mark, where the two sides clashed, and they were hand-to-hand combat. It's really brutal stuff that happened there. And we were standing there, and he had his back turned to me. And he's not a spiritual guy at all. Okay, I'm setting that up right now. He has his back turned to me. And I'm standing there, and I felt like it's almost like if you had your feet plugged into a light socket. There's like this buzz of energy went up my legs and up my body all the way through the top of my head. My whole body was like zzz, like it was plugged into a battery. And he turned around and looked at me and he went, "Do you feel that?" And I went, "Yeah." It was so. I mean, when they talk about hallowed ground, or like when a lot of people, something happens in a location, like a lot of people die, or there's a lot of angst and pain or whatever going on. There's something to it, because I'm telling you, it was tangible. It was not in our imaginations. It was a tangible electricity coming up through our body, and it was right at the high water mark.
I thought you said it was up your leg.
No, that would be Joe Biden. But anyways, so not to get too freaky weird, but that's probably the only thing I could point to where I would say was if you want to call it a supernatural experience, that would be it.
I tried to find that. Remember the Gettysburg? Was it like a mini series on TNT or TBS back in the day?
It was a movie, yeah, but they played it on TNT.
Yeah, I tried to find it, and you have to buy it now. You can't. It's not streaming anywhere. It pisses me off. Because a couple weeks ago, I was like, "Oh man, I'd like to watch that again." Nope.
Yeah, it's a little long. I mean, it was good. I liked it. It could have been a lot bloodier. They should have made it rated R. But I know they were trying to make it palatable for TV. You do the bloodiest battle in American history, or as far as American deaths, and there's no blood. What are we doing here? So I wish it had been a lot more graphic. I think the movie Glory does a much better job of showing the brutality of that type of warfare.
Chris Cranham talking about magical ley lines in Gettysburg.
I'm telling you, I'm not making this up, guys. It was weird. It was really strange.
I borrow ideas. I'm barely even talking. It's all Murph and Leroy. So if anyone's ruined the stream, it's Leroy. That's all I'm saying. Murph. So here's some criticism. One you've already taken on board. How are those updates coming along, mate? Jeez Louise.
I know.
Every time I open my Gmail, it's like,
I know.
Listen, War Party. I'm like,
Rob, when things happen, you got to tell people, right? I mean, I wasn't going to not tell people Michael Golden was willing to do 10 original commissions for me. I mean, that's like, the Pope calling you or something, as far as I'm concerned. They don't get any higher in the echelon than Michael Golden. But right. I don't know. I guess I'd rather err on the side of having too much communication with the backers than what I hear a lot of complaining is where there's not enough. They're like, we're not hearing anything. We don't know what's going on. What are you doing? So I don't know. I like to communicate with the backers. It's a fault. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to deal with it. So.
Jim is our typical never wants to get an update from the creators kind of person. And if he saw the amount of War Party updates you gave,
34.
Mate, we would not be a happy chat. Unreal.
Well, I will try. I'm trying. Believe me. But when I hit that send, I think about it. I'm like, is Rob Arnold going to get pissed off? It's like, well, he's going to have to do it.
You're like the only person in Comicsgate that thinks that about that, Murph. Everybody else is like, I hope this pisses Rob Arnold off.
That is very true. What was the update? I quit reading them after all the secret perks.
Oh Lord, I know. Well, hey, you guys can laugh and criticize all you want, but look at the numbers, right? The numbers speak for themselves.
I know, don't they? And that's the annoying thing. You guys say you want this, but you're responding to this.
Mhm.
So
I never once bitched about these updates. This is you, all you, Rob.
Well, it's not me. It's me listening to what the backers are saying and then seeing what they're doing on War Party and going, "Hey, one of you's lying."
I will say this, and this is to encourage anybody else out there who's doing a campaign. I've had to fight and scratch for every dollar, every backer. This did not come easy, guys. Like this, it's only recently that I have been able to coast a little bit and let it do its thing. But for the past 3 months, I've been relentlessly on streams. I would spend 2 hours on a stream and not get one backer. It happened.
That's what you get for going Bancroft stream.
Well, I will. His stream did well for me. Actually, the one that did the best was Rage Golden Eagles. His put me through the roof. We streamed for 4.5 hours. That guy can go forever. He's like a marathon runner. And I think I raised almost $2,000 that night. It's crazy.
Do you think that just hanging out in the chat, because we always see you in the chats, always just hanging out in the chat, do you think that helps with it? It
helps, but you don't usually see an immediate response. Like it's rare that if somebody shares a link that you get a backer from a chat. What it does, it's kind of like advertising. It's repetition. So they see you in the chat, they hear about your project, they see the link, but they don't back. Then they see it again. They don't back. They see it again. They don't back. Then eventually they see you on a stream and they remember all those chats and then they back. So it's like anything. You just gotta be there, be present the whole time. And I'm not. Yeah, he was the marketing. He's sort of the muscle that kicked the whole thing off a little bit. But no, I mean, do I consider this a success? Absolutely. Would I like it to do more? Of course. Am I going to try to get it higher? Yes, definitely. But the point is, you just got to show up and do the work. And I will say this, I haven't gotten nearly as much drawing done the last 3 months as I would hope to, because I've had to put so much energy into running this campaign.
Good point.
So that's the hard part, is it will take you away from the drawing board.
But because your price point is so low, like when you look at your campaign, you really have to look at the backers to be really impressed. Like 604 backers on your first campaign, that's a home run.
Well, it's not even done yet either. I mean, you got to think, I'm not fulfilling for another 5 months, and I'm leaving it in demand. It could go much higher than that in time. I don't think it's going to slow down, because I'm not going to slow down. I mean, I'm going to keep pushing it. But I mean, I want 1,000 backers. I would love 1,000 backers. I mean, I used to sell 4,000 or 5,000 copies of my previous works 10 years ago, but that was to comic book stores. So to me, 1,000 backers is nothing. I know in crowdfunding it's hard to get. It's a hard thing to achieve. But my point is, in the grand scheme of things, what is 1,000 people? And that's not even really 1,000 people, because as you know, backers is how many times you back. 5 backers could be the same person. So you're not even talking about 1,000 people.
You're not such a big deal after all, Rob. See?
Well, Murph has more backers than me. I mean, I've got more money, but more backers. That's where it's at. And I'm not letting you off, Murph, because that is some bullshit. If you just go, I just ran my campaign, and nothing's really changed in the last month and a half. Yet I've got 300 backers. What did you do? Tell me.
What did I do? Okay, here's what I did. Because I'm telling you, what I've learned is your most valuable backers are the ones you already have. In other words, there's nothing wrong with going out and trying to get more people. But when someone's already backed your campaign, they have told you, I believe in this project. I like what you're doing. I want to give you my money. I want to buy your products. Offer them more products. If you offer them things they want, they will come back and buy more. And I mean, honestly, I learned that watching EVS, watching his Wreck Planet campaign, because I thought he keeps upping his game. He keeps adding toys. He keeps adding all these things, and the numbers keep skyrocketing. It's the same people coming back funding over and over again. So I thought, you can do that on any level. You don't have to be EVS to do that. Anybody can do that. But what I did offer is, rather than like, well, here's a t-shirt, or here's a cup, or here's a coaster, or here's some stickers, I added a whole nother book. I added an issue 0. I made it black and white, so I don't have to pay a colorist. I'm the artist. All it's going to cost me is printing. Printing black and white is very cheap. It's a limited edition. I'm only printing 250 of them. More than half of them are already gone. That is a very... See, people want story. They like the t-shirts and all that stuff, don't get me wrong, but people want to read stuff. So if you give them more content, more story, yes, it's more work, but that's really what I found people want. They want more. They want to know more about the world that you're creating. The handbook's doing well because it's like a Marvel Universe kind of thing with bios and maps, and explains the transformation process kind of almost from like a scientific point of view. Just these are things people want to get engrossed in. So if you can create a world and not just a book, which I see people doing that, they're trying to do that. That's what people want, I feel, and it seems like that's what they want, is a whole world to get engrossed in.
Definitely. Like, I don't think I've ever seen someone, and like, a new creator, at least their first campaign, add 300 backers on in a month and a half in demand. I think that's incredible. So
Thanks.
What have you done is absolutely sensational.
Well, that's all I've done. I've just offered them more. If you like this world and you want to spend more time in this world, I'm going to give you a chance to spend more time in this world by giving you more content. That's it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you offered free shipping as secret perks for the add-ons?
Only one. The handbook. And it's because the handbook will ship with your existing shipment. It's a floppy. It's 32 pages. It's negligible. It's not going to change the shipping cost at all. So barely. I mean, a few cents. So my point is, there was no reason to charge shipping on something like that. Just charge for the book, slap it in there, and there you go.
Beautiful.
And I just finished that manual. But actually, if you want me to screen share, I can show you a sneak peek.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But while Murph's doing that, we'll just reiterate. We did a show quite a while ago. It was projects we love and projects that need more love. And George brought up War Party because he was confused as to why it was so cheap, if it was some sort of scam or something along those lines, just like if it was genuine, And Murph, instead of taking it negatively, he took it as, constructive criticism or something that needed to be addressed. And he addressed what was said in the video and replied to George. And, that's the perfect way to do it. I wish everyone would do it that way. Don't get so butthurt over people asking you questions. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring Murph on. But this is the book that Murph is talking about.
Yeah, and what it is, I've always loved the Marvel Universe books where they had, this is some backstory, but sometimes there's stuff you just can't get it all in the comic book. It's just too much information. So this is backstory that you may not ever fully see in the book, but it's there, and it just enhances your understanding of the characters and sort of where they came from, who they are, all that good stuff. But what's cool is, and I'll scroll here, this computer's lagging. The back of the book, let me get to it. Yeah, this guy's a porcupine, by the way. What I love about the spirit animal thing is there's really no limitation. You can pick any obscure, a raccoon, a fox, it can be anything. You have a were-fox, a were-raccoon. Yeah, this was fun to do. I was trying to work out, I had it written out, like how does the transformation process happen? Like where, what's the process? What's the order of things? Good old preview. Gotta love it. Oh, Lord. It's time for a new computer, guys. This thing's 10 years old.
Wow.
But this is the sticker album in the back. And the way this works is I have 4 more follow-ups in mind for this saga. And they're all different time periods. And the reason they're all in different time periods is because Dayani basically has discovered the fountain of youth. She ages very slowly, kind of like Wolverine. So I'm able to take her through various periods in history, and she's the through line in the story. This is the process of how the transformation happens. If I can get this
So, are you saying that you're going to have stickers that people can put into the book at some point?
Yes. In other words, what I wanted to do, I don't want to give away the characters or the story. I mean, I haven't even written them yet, obviously, of the follow-ups. So what my idea was, how do I put those things in this handbook, or make this so that it can grow with the saga? And the way I'm going to do it is, when the next book comes out, you'll have the option of getting the sticker pack with it, and then you can put those stickers in the handbook with the bios and the characters, and then when the next one comes out, you do that. So it's like a sticker album in the second half of the handbook. But like this, walking through how this happens, when you're writing this kind of fantasy stuff, if you don't get these things mapped out, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to screw up. There's going to be a plot hole. You're going to forget something. And so I was like, this is as much for me as a writer as it is for them, the reader, is that I need to make sure I know exactly how I'm handling all of these sort of mythologies and rules, so that I know when I'm breaking them, or when I'm, basically contradicting myself. We've all seen that in fantasy, right?
So this is some real nerd shit right here, Murph, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, there's a process. They don't just howl at the moon and turn into a wolf. They have to go through a process. They actually have to drink part of her blood, because her blood is what contains the power. So not only do they have to put the pelt on, the pelt has to be made of real animals, whatever the animal is. They have to drink some of her blood, and then the pelt comes alive, kind of like the symbiote with Spider-Man, and consumes them, attacks them, basically, and merges with their flesh. And, of course, they grow twice the height, so they're gigantic. They're like
is the
11, 12 feet
hepatitis
tall.
just an added bonus?
Well, I mean, it is kind of a blood, not disease, but it's the same concept as when you get infected by someone's blood. Yes. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. As a matter of fact, you can't have sex with her, because if you have sex with her, she can't have sex. She's a virgin. If she has sex, it will drain her of her power, her essence. And she was warned by the shaman that gave it to her that you can never lay with a man, or you might lose your power. So she has to guard that. So that's the ultimate form of transfer, So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like an STD, I guess. A magical STD. But, I tried to make it a little bit magic, a little bit science, so it kind of merged together. Swipe left. I don't know why he's saying swipe left, but
that'd be Tinder or something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But and just explaining things, because when these things happen, people have questions. Like you said, it's nerd stuff, Leroy. People go, well, could so and so beat so and so, or what? You hear all this stuff all the time. So I kind of took that approach. It's like, what happens if they get cut? What happens if they get shot? What if they lose a limb? Does it grow back? Can they get sick? Can they catch diseases? How tall are they in relation to each other? All these little things I tried to just enhance, like I said, enhance the world, build the world. I'm trying to build a world.
I love this. I love this shit. I reckon George would love it too, Leroy.
Yeah, George is a hardcore nerd.
Well, and this is great for history people too, because I love history. That's like my first thing, and I've never merged history with fantasy. But of course, my love of the Civil War, you can see obviously 1864 is coming. There's going to be a Western one, 1880s coming, the gangster era, 1926, and then the 77, which this is the follow-up I want to do next. Is in
77,
Manhattan.
you say?
Yeah.
Would Johnny Phantasm be there?
Well, I mean, it's funny because I didn't pick it for that reason. I picked it because 77 was a high crime time period in New York City, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's great, and you put the stickers over that, and it's gonna.
They're labeled, so you'll know which. So, like when you buy this follow-up book, you'll get the sticker set for it, and they're in order. These pages will have the picture of the character with the bio, the picture of the character with the scene from the book, the bio. So these are all stickers. These are all going to go in these locations. So that's what's cool about the handbook. It's kind of a commitment to stick with War Party for the long haul,
Danger Vanessa says George is going to have flashbacks from his time as a private under Colonel George Washington's command.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
I'm just going
it's
to take some notes about that. It's totally unrelated, and I'm not going to steal your sticker idea.
We still in your shit.
Yep.
Yeah, between that and the back of campaign a week or a month. Sorry, a week. Yeah,
you said one a week, dude. That's such
yes.
a great idea. I know I said that, but dude, that's a great idea for a video.
Thanks. Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I talked about it with my wife because I'm like, look, if we're gonna do this, we need to do this. I'm not using, obviously campaign money to do it. It's gotta be my money. Are you on board with this? And she goes, I think it's a great idea. So I was like, okay, because you got to give back, right? I mean, isn't that what we're here to do?
Yeah, I think so. I agree. Darren says, my bad, Rob. I brought up dating apps. Yeah, everyone in CG's married, Darren. You should know this. 42 and married. Leroy.
Yes, I'm 42 and married. And I have kids.
I've got 5 years on you guys.
No, you're still 42. Everybody's...
What, you're 37?
No. 50's on the way, man.
Eric von Stugel asks, is white ash a weakness to your skinwalkers?
Oh, yeah, I have heard that legend. I haven't really explored that, but that's something that might be worth exploring. I haven't... you won't see anything like that in this story, but it's not... It may be something I could explore in the future.
Jimmy Reyes in there. Hey, Jimmy. So, Murph, have you received any books from CG so far? You've been in...
I have Blood Honey, College of the Dead, both Downcasts, and is there one more? I think that's all of them. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting on a lot of them. I'm waiting on Fragas. I'm waiting on it's another old one, Battle Brick Road. I'm waiting on Wreck Planet. There's quite a few, but it seems like this is going to be the year where it's going to be just an avalanche of fulfillment.
It's funny Rob and I were talking about that right before you joined in. It's already started, I think, because we got Monster MD coming. I just got Shanu 94 by Shelby Robertson's on its way already. Like, yeah, it's starting to fulfill now. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Rise and Fall, Leroy?
Rise and Fall is the most recent one, so I haven't gotten one in a while that I've received.
Greg's in the house. Hey, Greg, how you doing, mate? Yeah, so that's it. Just a quick stream today. I just wanted to get Murph on because, like I said at the start, I was really impressed by a lot of things he's done. The fact that he took some constructive criticism the correct way, responded to it, and it was a sensational boost for his campaign. And the fact that he's added just under 300 backers in over just under 2 months, I think is ridiculous. So there's something he's doing that maybe
he
other
still
people
doesn't. I feel like you're not satisfied with my answer. I tell you, there's no magic formula. It's just.
I think people could also learn from you just hanging out, Murph.
Yeah.
I mean, that is such a big deal to people like me, just fans. Like you're always hanging out in the chats with us. You don't necessarily have to be on stream. You're just in the chat.
Well, it helped that I was doing that 2 years prior, so I was already in Comicsgate as a fan, even though I am a pro and I've worked in comics for years. I came to Comicsgate first just as a fan. I had no intentions of releasing a book, and then it grew into that. I think some people hear what's happening, they immediately come over, they launch their book, and nobody knows who the heck they are, and they haven't been talking to anybody, they haven't been interacting. You can't do that. That's not going to work. And I think a lot of professionals are going to learn that when they start jumping ship from Marvel and DC. They're not going to be able to just come in here and think they can just throw something on Indiegogo and everybody's just going to flock to it. It doesn't work that way.
Well, even Roquefort has been laying the foundation for it. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not coming in here and throwing out a book. He's been in the chats for quite a while. So, yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, Billy, yeah, good point. Yeah, thanks, Billy. I mean, that's my perspective, and that's why I didn't think anybody could argue with that. Like, oh, okay, well, he's used to getting 40% the cover price. No wonder he thinks he's doing well. But no, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a sacrifice, because could I have gotten more money? Yes. Would I have the same number of backers? No, because $25 is the magic number. You want a $25 perk. The problem is I originally wanted to do an 8-issue story because I like more long-form stories, and I couldn't offer 8 issues for $25. So I had to squeeze it down to 6, which is why all that extra content I couldn't get, I put into 0.
Is that when you got the tingle up your leg? Is when you squeeze it down to 6?
Yeah, squeeze it down to 6. Yeah. But, it's good because I think it forces you to speed up the storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, because you have less pages, so you're like, it forces you to pick up the pace. But I like slow burns. I like to take my time telling stories. I don't like to rush through it. And to me, 6 issues is not a lot. 140 pages is not a lot to tell a story, in my opinion. My last graphic novel is 200. See, so I'm just used to having more time to say what I want to say.
And this is something Leroy and I talk about sometimes, but when you're promoting a book, and I don't know if you felt the same way, you can't be promoting it all the time. Like, you promote it, at the opportune times, but then take a break, man, because people don't want to hear about it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 60 days. It's just not... People get burnout. Have you felt the same way?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is to, like, whenever I've been on a stream, we've only talked about the book, maybe a third of the time. The rest of the time, we're just talking about whatever comes up. I mean, I was on Preston Acevedo's stream the other night, and we got on Mike Tyson and boxing. We started talking, because I love boxing. I've followed boxers. I watch old boxing matches back to the 60s and 70s. And we talk about Hagler and Hearns and all these different fights that we used to love. And we got on boxing, and we got on the pit bulls. We started talking about all sorts of stuff that had nothing to do with War Party. Yeah, I mean, you can't just sit here. It can't just be everyone, okay, buy my book. I'm going to tell you about my book. Here's the perks. I mean, that gets tiring for anybody to hear. I do think we should talk more about when the books come out, talk about the books. In other words, you see a movie, and you talk about what you loved about the movie or what you didn't like or whatever. I think there needs to be more of that, and I think that will happen once more books start being fulfilled. We'll start getting more of that. What do you think of this? And and get that culture going that we used to have in comics when comics were good, with Marvel and DC years ago, where you would talk about those geek culture things, so to speak. Because right now there's just not a lot to talk about because there's not a lot of books that have been fulfilled or read yet. So
very good. I think we'll wrap it up there. Anything else to say, Murph? Darren's been putting the links in chat for us, so that is sensational.
Just hail Comicsgate. I appreciate everything you guys have done and helped me make this happen. I was done with comics. I'm telling you, I hadn't done a comic in 10 years.
Ooh.
I had given up on it. I was like, comics are dead. I'm over it. I'm moving on to animation. And I would not be doing this book right now if not for Comicsgate. I wouldn't be doing it. So this, because of the community supporting these projects, you guys are making this art happen that otherwise would not exist. No joke. And who knows where these things will go. Some of these could get optioned for TV shows or movies down the line. If things keep going the way they're going, some of these things are going to have a life beyond just even a comic book. I believe that. So we're creating a whole nother industry. And I think it's great. I mean, I have so many ideas now for this, and it's given me new motivation to want to do comics again. So, hail.
Yeah, same way for me. Like, I was nearly out. I'm like, one more campaign. If I don't make money off it, I'm done. Because what's the point? These things aren't easy to do. They're not easy to make. They're time consuming. And if you're not making money to even cover it, it's a tough one. But congrats, Murph. You got 2 extra backers. So hopefully that was people from chat. That's sensational, guys. Very much appreciated. And Bancroft will be streaming in like 10 minutes. So everyone here, go over there. And it's Australia Day here. Go watch him drink beers, whatever it is that he does.
Sweaty Aussies in the video.
Yes.
Why is everyone so sweaty in that video?
Homoerotic porn for Bancroft.
Exactly.
Amanda B says, the art looks great. I like the backstory you put in. Yeah, me too.
Thank you, Amanda B.
The handbook looks great. I know Von did a handbook as well, which I backed. I might have to have a look at yours too.
He said he
so
put
we'll
his special signature in it for you, Rob.
Yeah, what did he call
Rob,
me?
would you like me to send you another email with the handbook link? I'm gonna bombard Rob's inbox now with sneak previews.
Can you send it to me again?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
See, this is a problem. I've had people, I've sent them, and then they're like, I didn't get it. I'm like, guys. So then I have to send it to everybody because I don't know who got it and who didn't. And then people get irritated because they've gotten the same email 3 times. It's a little frustrating. I can't imagine what it is when you have like 5,000 backers, like EBS or something. That's going to be insane.
Actually a big problem because like it doesn't matter what mailing service you use. Some of them don't go through. Some of them get put into promotion folders. Some just don't make it at all. So there needs to be a better way to do that.
Well, even the emails, my email won't let me send beyond. It won't let me send everybody an email at once. I have to break it up into like 200 or 100 at a time because it won't allow it. So I backed. Yeah, thanks, Rick. Yeah, it's like I said, guys. A lot of this money is people backing multiple things, the same person. So I mean, the person today that bought the Michael Golden, the $500 Michael Golden perk, had already backed everything else. They probably spent $700 on this campaign.
But if you're a smart guy, though, you got the internet figured out. It's kind of hard for Rob to kind of get in there and figure things out sometimes. So
what are you talking about?
Extra chromosome.
Go shoot something, Leroy. Billy Baxter asks, Professor Murph, is issue 0 you mentioned a new book coming at a later campaign?
No, Billy. It is a secret perk link that you get when you become a backer. So if you are I don't know if you're a backer or not because I don't know what your real name is.
He just backed today.
Okay.
Back today.
Then I will email you. What happens is as soon as I get a new backer, I immediately email the links to the secret perks, and then you have access to them. That one's already gone. Yeah, Rick ordered my old books, my previous books, because I offer those as well, and everybody's already received those. They've all gone out, even overseas. Everybody's got them.
Very nice.
Yeah, I don't waste any time. I've got all my Gemini mailers, my labels, everything ready to go. So appreciate it. Thanks, Billy.
Yeah,
I'll send you that.
Be prepared for 400 emails from Professor Murph with updates. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone, for popping by. It was good to see you all. Go head over to Bancrofts now if you're free and see what's going on over there. And back War Party if you haven't. I'll chuck the link in chat now. And thanks, Murph and Leroy. Anything else you want to close that out on, Murph?
No, just once again, appreciate it. Thanks. Hail.
Leroy?
I got nothing.
Beautiful. All right, guys.
He's polishing his rifle right now.
Which one?
Yeah. Right. The 30-06.
All right, guys. I'm going to end it there.
Right.
Thank you all for popping in on short notice. See you later.